we want to learn a Zohar together inside. So at the end of this, not only I won't know what I'm talking about, but none of you will know what you're talking about.
Thanks a lot.
Mixes up completely. But we're learning the midah of the Tomer Devorah test, ותשליך נמצולות yam kol חטאתם, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has this midah where he throws into the Metzulas Yam all of the Averos of Bnei Yisrael. Does tashlich, Kadosh Baruch Hu does tashlich, and he throws it in Metzulas Yam. And what we learned, the Tomer Devorah here is out of character, complicated in test. Tomer Devorah is a very complicated person, a very complicated set of svarim, and all of his is the Rabbi of the Aris. So it's a huge yedda that goes into understanding Tomer. But in Tomer Devorah, he simplifies things for us and makes it into a clear Indian of midos. But here, he chooses to go on for a couple of pages on the inyanim of Kaballah, of ותשליך נמצולות yam kol חטאתם, and it has to do with the shiur hamishtalech. And he gave a few examples that we take our averos, the Kohen Gadol takes the averos and he puts them al roish hasoyer and he sends them la azazel. He says another example, just to say it out loud what we've been learning, of you find by Nebuchadnezzar and Haman and the other Rishoyim that were there to hurt Klal Yisrael, to get us to do tshuva. So clearly they came because of our averos. That's clear in the Chumash that they came because of our averos. That's the teichacha, and they brought us to do tshuva, which was their purpose. And then they should just poof. They should just sort of go away and go bother somebody else or something, you know. But no, we see that they got an onesh for doing this, even though they were the shluchei Hashem, Paroi, Nebuchadnezzar, Haman, not just an onesh, but a very precise onesh. Haman was hung on the same tree that he prepared for Mordechai. But he was really just got us to do tshuva. So there's the philosophical approach to this, which is, okay, well, he didn't have to be the shaliach, you know, he chose to be the shaliach. And here there's more of a Kabbalistic approach, and that is not just a question of philosophy of, of the shiur chavshis, and he didn't have to choose. Many people are willing to do the shlichus Hashem when it comes to hurting somebody. Like, let somebody else do that. But that's not our job necessarily to, which is important unto itself. I always think that people are very worried that, just as an example, people are very worried when they're talking to somebody to give a compliment because they're afraid it's going to go to their head. Like all of a sudden you're their spiritual. Like you're so worried about their ruchni, so why don't you go wake them up for davening in the morning? You're so worried that the person is going to become a Balgai v'chas v'shalom. It's a funny thing that let somebody else worry about that. You let it go to their head, and let somebody else bring them down. Why do you have to be the one to do this shlichus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring them down? So Paro, that's the simple shot. Paro to Nebuchadnezzar, just because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to do tshuva, why do you have to be the shaliach? Tomer Devorah talks about something different. He says that even you see the domain, like the stone, a knife that you use, the sword that you use to kill somebody who's chayav misa, you have to bury that sword. You have to get it out of this world. So that's why you have to get Haman out of this world. Something deeper here. And he explains that what we're talking about here is that when you do an Aveira, so two things happen. Number one is that you violated the Ratzon Hashem, for that matter, created a violation or a pagam within your own neshama. And the other thing that happens, the words that we've been using, is that you created a mashkis. You brought some negative energy into the world. And, okay, you do tshuva, you get rid of the aveira. But you haven't gotten rid of the mashkis that you created. So now there's more negativity in the world than there was before, which could come out anywhere. It could come out as famine in Africa. It could come out as a tsunami. It could come out as so many different things, or it can roll back on us. So true, we did tshuva, but we brought this into the world. It's like another thing that happens in the Bria. It's just part of the Bria, part of Asher Bara Lakim Lasos, that Kadosh Baruch Hu left us to be partners in the Bria, and we could be partners l'tov, we could be partners l'ra, partners in crime. So that's another derech, which is harder to understand, but interesting that if the Tomer Devorah wanted to just bring a Bein Adam L'Chavero lesson, here's my 13 lessons of niceness, derech eretz, so he could have used the philosophical derech, like you don't have to be the one to punish, don't be the punisher. But he's saying something different. There's that the midah in Bein Adam L'Chavero, which we haven't even talked about yet, and the more I learn about this, the more I realize how difficult this Bein Adam L'Chavero is going to be. Really, it's going to require a lot of deep work. But there's something here that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does that I want to understand, and that is that not only does he get rid of the Avera when we do tshuva, but he gets rid of the mashchis also. That's the chiddush here. The Kohen Gadol is not taking the Averos of Klal Yisrael per se and putting them a Rosh Hasa'ir and sending them off the mountain to Azazel. We got rid of our Averos. We went through Rosh Hashanah, Aseres Yemei Yom Kippur, Tshuva, Vidui. We did all the Sidrei of Storm of Tshuva, Sidrei Kapara. We did all that. This is something different. This is this ritual of bringing a korban Lashem on the one hand and bringing a korban Lazazel is getting rid of something else that surrounds the Avera. That's this mashchis. So the world becomes somehow a better place to live in with the throwing of the Sarah L'Mishtaleach, throwing the Sarah L'Azazel. So with all that, we still don't understand how that works, right? What does it mean? What does it actually mean? And how does it apply to Bein Adam L'Chavero? So I just want to show you this. Let's learn it together. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's the Zayar in Parshas Ballah. And on the top is the Zayar, on the bottom is the Zayar with the Pirush. Let's learn the bottom. We'll understand it. Kama dat Omar, it says in the Pasuk, Vayikras Esav b'nai Hagadol, is referring to Yitzchak, and Yitzchak called his elder son, or b'nai Hagadol, Esav, and he said, make me food. Bring me food. Now, it seems, let me just add in here the kasha, it seems that Yitzchak is already paskening, b'nai Hagadol, you're the Bukhar. Like that's the psak of Yitzchak Avidu. So it says the Zohar, Vayikra Yitzchak, Shu Soid HaGvura Dezeran. Yitzchak stands for Gvura. Avram is Chesed, Yitzchak is Gvura. As Esav b'nai Hagadol, Hainu, what does he mean? Hasamach Mem Shu Sari Shal Esav. He didn't call Esav, as Esav b'nai Hagadol. He called Esav's Malach. That's the same Malach that fought with Yaakov through the night. Gadol, why is he called the Gadol? Gadol iyu legabe misharian de sitra acher. Yitzchak was doing something different over here. He wasn't, says the Zohar, he wasn't just calling his son Esav, bring me a steak. He was calling something else. He was summoning the Malach of Esav. The Samach Mem sounds a little bit scary, but the Malach of Esav is something we're familiar with. It's a Chumash, right? Malach Shel Esav. Shehu Hagadol al kol machanoi shel asitra achra. Gadol iyu legabe. Why is it called Gadol? B'nai Hagadol. He wasn't calling Esav altogether. He was calling B'nai Hagadol. He was a Gadol. The Gadol legabe misharian the sitra achra. Like there's Hashras Hashchina, there's Hashras Sitra achra. Let me just explain briefly and just enough to understand that when in the way Hashem created the world, I don't know, I have no idea why. The way HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, as the world was created through the spheros, there was Yesh Mi'ayin, so he created two pipelines for the creation of Gashmias. One pipeline is a pipeline of Kedusha, and another pipeline is a pipeline called Sitra Achra, which simply means the other side. So there's the side of Kedusha, and there's the side of Sitra Achra. Why? If there wouldn't be a side of Sitra Achra, meaning it's sort of a negative system of creation also. Okay, the Kaballah speak about everything has a positive and a negative, like electricity. Everything has a positive point and a negative point, otherwise you don't have through. But it's just, I think it's even simpler than that. That the choice of a person in creation is living is you can take from the tzad of kedusha, you can take from the tzad of the sitra achra. It's very simple that it is very clear that when a person gets their energy, a little bit of energy that we have, a person gets their energy, they're taking their energy from Shemayim, so they can take it from the tzad of kedusha, tzad of sitra achra. So if you're talking divrei Torah l'shma, so you're getting your kedusha at that point from the tzad of kedusha. Chachmas adam Torah panav. A person who learns Torah or teaches Torah l'shma, your face starts to shine. It's like electricity going through a light bulb.
That's just what happened to Moshe Rabbeinu.
Moshe Rabbeinu became completely mitzvah,
and he didn't have to eat for 40 days.
Where does a Rasha who goes and a Rasha? And I pointed out to somebody a couple of days ago that the definition of a Rasha is not somebody who doesn't keep the Torah. It's not a Rasha. It's our religion. The definition of a Rasha is somebody who's ruthless, who's evil. Tzaddikim, Rishayim biyad tzaddikim by Chanukah doesn't mean that we kept the Torah, they didn't keep the Torah. Who cares if the Greeks keep the Torah? What it means is that they were ruthless. They raped people. They hurt people. They took people's nechasim. They were ruthless people. That's what we were fighting against. Our problem with Nazis is not that they're not religious. The problem is that they're ruthless, evil people. So where do they get this koach from? How could they possibly have koach to do this? The answer is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for the purpose of free choice, created a sitra achra. And the sitra achra gives people the ability to do things in this world with it. And the Gaon says that the koach that you get from the sitra achra is even stronger than the koach you get from the tzad of kedusha. Like most people, the Yetzer Hara, they'll go and they'll run and they have endless energy and they spend a lot of money and it's amazing what people will do with their Yetzer Hara. With their Yetzer Hatov, you don't have the same kind of koach, to get up to go to davening as you have to do something which is an avera. My Rebbe Rashidberg used to say over this guy, he used to say, when he asked him an eitzah, should I do this, should I not do it? If you want to do it too much, it's probably your Yetzer Hara. Not necessarily, but that's part of the Yetzer Tov is not as energized. So you see the Sitra Achra, which is more of a fancy. Yetzer Hara is the end of the line, the klikibol. The Sitra Achra is that the pipeline, the source of negativity that comes into this world. The Rishayim get the koach to do what they do, to kill, to murder and to steal and to rape. Where that koach comes from a koach of, not from a koach of kedusha, but it comes from a koach of sitra achra. Even if they're the shluchei Hashem, that's the pella. Even if they're shluchei Hashem,
aren't we all shluchim Hashem?
Everything's a shliach Hashem, but so you start to understand. You start to understand that this. Getting rid of the Rasha who's a shliach to make me do tshuva is not all what it's all about. It's about that there's a certain koach from the sitra achra which they brought to destroy. So now you have this sitra achra, this bria in the world. So it says the Zohar, Iyu Gadol. So Yaakov was calling what he was doing was Yaakov. Sort of favoring Esav in the pashtus of the pasuk was the Sayr Habishtaleach. Sayr, Esav was the Sayr. Ihu Gadol v'noig l'chol arva d'yavad d'artoi Baruch Habisha. Hu ha-Gadol, we could skip the Arabic, let's go to the Hebrew, but Hu ha-Gadol, this Gadol, the Gadol meaning the Sabach Mem, or the Malach of the Sitra Achra. Is this okay, or am I freaking everybody out? Sorry. Okay. Hu ha-Gadol ha-Balhig es kol ha-Adiyah shebiyah beruach rashu ruach sahara. When there's a storm at sea and it's turning boats upside down, that's the koach of the Sitra Achra. So you understand that when Yonah was on a boat and he was kovesh nevuasai, and the sea responded, everybody understood, even the guy on the boat understood that there's something that our boat journey should go smoothly, and if it's a rough ride, there's something sitra achra, something's going on over here which is wrong. Who's doing it avera? Who's doing it? The goyim understood this. Who's doing it avera?
And Yonah said, okay, it was me. I'm kovish by nevuah. So the koach that we're getting now on this boat is coming from, it's a destructive koach. Whereas shluchei mitzvah ain't a nizakin, that's coming from a different place. Now, very often, or just to push this aside for a second, you can have two kochos having a war. There's kochos of people davening at shul, and there's kochos of people with axes and guns. I mean, there's two kochos. But what on a Shamayim level, if you will, not that I pretend to understand this at all, but what you're talking about is kochos hakedusha and kochos of sitra achra. Clearly kochos of sitra achra, and clearly kochos of kedusha. So that's a different Yaakov and Esav aspect. A Yaakov and Esav aspect, Amleya, Hacharefa, where the Gemara speaks about this a lot, like this struggle. It's a struggle that took place even with Yaakov and Esav themselves. Even before they were born, it was Vayeches Ba'akev Esav, Yikar Shma Yaakov, Ki Yagvuni Pamayim. That this war of this war. It's not sci-fi. It's the way the world is working this very, very second in this very, very room. Torah shaloi lishma. I didn't mean to put that together with this very room. But Torah shaloi lishma is not a kiyum of kedusha. It's a kiyum of sitra achra, with a heter somehow of loy lishma ba lishma. It's a bad thing shaloi lishma. Lakanter for gaiva. It's a bad thing. It's actually the worst kind of sitra achra because it's kind of like meluvash and kedusha. So it's the worst kind of sitra achra. But that's important to know that there's two things going on at every moment. And when we're looking at something, you have to ask yourself, and by superficial level, I have to ask myself, is what this person is saying or doing, is that coming from a makar of kedusha, or is it coming from a makar of sitra achra? I have to ask myself that question. Whether you're talking about the European Union or whether you're talking about people that are violent in the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whatever you're talking about, I don't know the answer to it, but the question that has to be asked is, where is this coming from? The easy way to ask the question is it Yetzer Hara or Yetzer HaTov? But the more sophisticated way to ask the question is, where is this energy coming from? There seems to be a tremendous amount of energy over here. And it's not good enough to say, well, it's all Bashert. Because we do have Bechira here, and there are things that are wrong. Bashert doesn't mean everything is right. So let's go further. Because I'm going to talk too much, or we're not going to get any. But the storms at sea, that's the Sitra Achra. Haniyos, and in general, Haniyos, Raimzais al Nishmais Yisrael, boats, ships, is the mashal of choice for in Chazal of the Neshamis of Klal Yisrael. It's like a ship going through on its journey through this world, coming to dock. Shehem, I don't know what it says here. Okay. Olamos, maybe. I mean, Levushe Kodesh. Right, so Leimar, Oisen an Neshama Shlei Zachal Islabish V'Zel Melevush Al Torah Mitzvos L'chein HaNefesh Nichresas V'Aruach V'Neshama Nisharim B'Lig Levushim Kedoshim. Wow. So if a person is created and brought into this world and does nothing with it, here we have a job, a mandate in this world, and let's say you do nothing with it. Like, okay, I'm in this world, let's have a good time, let's party. So what's happening is that, hey, there's something going on. There's a neshama, there's nefesh, that's what's over here. There's ruach, there's neshama, connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's a whole ishtalshlus here, and if you divorce yourself from that ishtalshlus, you nichrasa hanefesh ahi b'kerev haba. That's what chorus means, and chorus can mean many things, as you know, in halach. Yeah.
Rabbi mentioned before the shulchan mitzvah in nezakim. Does that mean that a person is doing a mitzvah, he would not bring nezek to the world? That's what they're saying? They would be mazikin to the world? And if it wasn't...
It could be that's what it means. It doesn't obviously doesn't mean that you can't get hurt.
Right, I'm saying it means that he won't bring nezakim. If he's really doing a mitzvah, then he won't bring nezakim to the world. I'm like...
could be that's what it means. So let's work on it. But you're saying a deep thing.
And that's what the rose.
That is what I'm saying. But I'm saying we're saying a deep thing.
So I'm saying, can I follow on from that? That it could be two people are doing the same thing, but one is putting in the sitra, one's putting in the kedusha, and that, even though it's the same thing, but it's installed in, like, for example, soldiers or terrorists. like a chayal.
Looks the same.
It looks the same, but it's got the, I mean, is that the...
Islamite.
Night and day.
I can tell you the same person could be doing the same thing 1 minute like this and 1 minute like that. You see, if we're talking Divrei Torah and then we start talking Lashon Hara in the middle, so you've just switched your pipe. Somebody switched the pipe. Now you're not illuminating anymore. You're turning green. Pinocchio. This is you're getting your koach from a different the same person.
Is it harder to recognize that today than it was in the time of Noach? I mean, the Goyim...
You have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, but nobody seems to be looking today.
Nachon. The Goyim gives simonim. It's all simonim. There's no... Look, part of our free choice is what we want to do. The other part of our free choice, which is a lot more sophisticated and important possibly, is knowing where things are coming from, and making a decision as to where things are coming from. And you have to ask. I ask myself, I mean, just my personal odyssey is, you wonder about like politics. I mean, in this country, you live on politics. I don't mean that as Lashon Hara. I'm just saying that's the way it works. It's good in a way. It's like democratic and all. But, like you wonder, it's a pachat to me that at such a dangerous time in the positioning of the state of Israel, it's a dangerous time. It's the things that are going on now the last 60 years, but the last few weeks even. It's a dangerous time to make a new election. Is this? I mean, I don't want an election. Who cares? But whoever is there is the chorah. It's bashert, but leibalacha bashabayim. But is this the right time to put up big billboards all over the country of how the other one's a creep? and talk. There's no heter, So is this the right time for all the pilug and the Shlit'a that this is going to cause? Where you had yesterday, like Haredi Jews storming a room with other Haredi Jews and almost killing them, that they have to give them security. Is this the right? I'm saying, is this the right time? Is it ever the right time? I don't know, but is this the right time to? And then you ask yourself, well, is this coming from a makar of kedusha, or is it coming from a makar of sitra achra? I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm not going to pass it, but I just don't know.
So interesting that you say that, because I just heard this morning that Moshe Feiglin gave up his run for the head's top spot because of that very reason.
Really?
He didn't want it to be a machloket.
It's like making an election on Tisha B'Av.
Yeah.
Anyways, but the Sitra Achra, so I mean, it's good we learn a little bit about this. At least an idea, a glimpse of how it works. The Zohar is as political as I'm going to get. but the example, in other words, of a neshama is a ship. The example of the Sitra Achra, sort of the prime example, is the soaring sea Lara. And the Goin, by the way, learns the whole Sefer Yonah as a mashal to a Jew in this world battling the Sitra Achra. Read the Goin. There was this Reform rabbi came to see me a couple of years ago. He was writing a book on Jonah. And he asked me what was good reading on Jonah. So I said, he read this, he read that. So I said, why'd you read the Go? He said, I read the Grow. He's off the wall. So he is off the wall. In other words, like he learns the whole thing. He says he doesn't get the story. He didn't get the story. I said, believe me, he got the story like you got the story. He's telling you something, a deeper dimension. It's the most important part of the whole story. So it's important. Anyways, the purpose of this Sitra Achra is Lat Bu'alon Ba'umka Diyama. This Samach Mem is in charge. He's the Gadol. The Gadol, Esav B'nai HaGadol. This is the B'nai HaGadol of Esav. Rotzalat Mia Ba'omek Yam. He's trying to sink the neshamas into the Yam. The Hainu Be'ilan Mitsulais Yam delay. Now this is the key reason why I bring this. This is Mitsulais Yam. V'sashlich Mitsulais Yam Kol Chatoisam. This Mitsulais Yam is the makom, let's say,
of the Sitra Achra. This is the domain, this is the we're in charge. Hashemayim Shemayim L'Hashem, Ha'aretz Nasa Livnei Adam, and the Metzulos Yam, let's translate it as the deepest, the floor of the sea. The deepest part, at the bottom of the sea, right, is the place of the Sitra Achra. It's Hafla of a fellow that we've explored every area of space, and we're going to Mars in a couple of years, and nobody knows what's going on. They can't find a stupid airplane at the bottom of the sea. It's just an amazing, abyss of the sea, much more so than space. My son, who works as chaplaining the Army in Norfolk, Virginia, the Navy rather, Navy SEALs, tells me that you can communicate with a spaceship on its way to Mars, but if a submarine is 10 feet below water, there's no way to communicate with them.
Really?
Nothing. The cell waves, whatever waves that there are, cannot penetrate 10 feet of water. And you have to either have an antenna flying up into the air or a wire. Either of those are very practical if you're on a, on a mission. There's no way. They're all alone down there.
No telephones.
No nothing. They're all alone down there. They're all like something. Think about that water, right? Isn't it?
Something I wanted to ask from the last two shurim as well. In Aziyah, we talk about the mitzvim, the Yoda bin
Solos.
Is it that because there was like
for sure. It's exactly what we're talking about. Or Yardu ki even vimtsula. Did we not all sing that last night?
Yeah.
Talking about Mitzrayim. Ra'ay savana shi yadai koichi ki la chayai me'ru b'koishi v'shibud malchus egla uvyadai hagdoila hoitzi es haskula. If I don't sing it, I don't know. Hoitzi es haskula chel paroi v'chol zarai yardu ki even v'imtsula. Here's our Sitra Achra. Very important. Latvulad bu'umka diyaba v'asamach mem bali goysav roitz latvia boibek hayam. The koach of negativity, of evil, of drowning, of tsunami, of Metzulos Yam. Let me. Eliezer was just about to tell you shut up your phone. Be'ilon Metzulos Yam, delay, ba'oisam Metzulos Hayam shaloi. The Metzulos Yam is the domain of the Sitra Achra. Shehu Soid Abina Debria Klipa Skipet Shesham Bakem Sitra Sabach Mem V'Nachash U'Machanehem. Okay, all bad things. V'Kana Kodesh Baruch Hu Rachamenu Be'esha Kodesh Baruch Hu B'Seres Midas HaRachamim. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu has Rachamim K'dei Kol Chatoim V'Chol Chayvet Yisrael Yoev Lei. Oz Kol HaChatoim V'Chol HaVoynoi Shal Yisrael Noised HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Samach Mem. Watch what's going on over here. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu has Rachmanos Hanos, what does he do with our Averos? Well, just make them disappear. They don't disappear. They're a Metzias that was created. So what does he do? He gives them to the Samach Mem. Gavaldik. But Nasir HaSoyer Olav as Chatois B'nai Yisrael. V'ihu Atolon. Here's a little gift for you, right? Here's the dynamite. We have a gift for you, gift wrapped time bomb. So he gives it to the Sabach Mem. The Sabach Mem does what with it? To the bottom of the sea, right? Metzulos Yam. V'hu bashlich oisam lemetzulos Yam shisham. B'koimai, let's take the stuff home. That's where we want it. Kol b'shrayin delay Metzulos Yam bikrin. Every place, and this is the mashal, every place that the Sitra Achra is in charge is called Metzulos Yam. Yardu ke'even v'imtzula. V'hu mashlich oisam l'mtzulos yam shesham mekoymai kol mishrayin delay Metzulos Yam ikru kol hamachanoi shaloi nikroim Metzulos Yam al shem mekoymam. Okay. Ve'inon natuluham v'hem lochim es kol ha'avoynoi shal kol Yisrael u'mishatati behind l'chol shar amen. Wonderful news. U'mishaitatin b'hem v'nois l'noisam l'chol shar amen. They share our Averos with the other nations of the world. And then they all disappear. So what happens over here is that the negativity which we created by getting our energy through the Sitra Achra. Once we do tshuva, that energy is there. This goes as a booby prize to the goyim of the world that get their energy from the Sitra Achra. If they don't get their energy, there's Chasidei U'B'Sayim also. But if they get their energy from, if they're using the energy that they have to destroy, to kill, to hate, if they're getting that energy, here, have some energy. They get more energy. They think it's a wonderful thing. They take it to the Nentzulos Yam and they distribute it nicely. They're very generous. The whole UN gets it. They distribute it nicely to all of the other groups of people that are getting their energy for the Sitra Achra.
So if we don't sin that there's less energy for the negative energy.
It's more negative energy.
If we don't sin, there's less.
Yeah.
If we don't do any sin at all, there's less energy for the.
Right.
do tshuva.
If we do tshuva, they have more. So if we do tshuva, they have more energy.
Right. Makam Shabali Tshuvaim Demise Sadikim Gemur Michaelim Lamei.
It's not like the opposite. Like in fact, we did tshuva, they should. I mean, if we don't sin at all, they have no energy. If we do sin,
And do tshuva.
They don't do tshuva.
Then they get more.
We don't do tshuva, they don't get the energy.
So that we're working like them. We're doing the
So
same
when we
thing.
do tshuva, they get the
It's
energy.
going to destroy us. If we keep the negative energy, we get destroyed just like them. But if we do tshuva, which is Hashem promised, eventually we'll do tshuva. So then what happens is that somehow that energy gets taken away from us, and instead of self-destructing us, take it to the goyim who choose. Not all the goyim, but the goyim who choose to live off negative energy. It is geschmack to live off negative energy. That's why people live in Las Vegas. It's geschmack. There's something wonderful. There's something very fulfilling. I mean, it's very energizing to live off negative energy. If your whole world is about money and politics and crime, there's something very energizing. That's the Yetzer Hara for it. It's not just about having more stuff, but that also it's that accumulation. It's all Sitra Achra. And you got to ask yourself, where are you coming from? If a person's doing something, this is what the Gemara says. It's a Gemara, not a Zohar. Somebody's doing something for kavod, it's coming from the Sitra Achra. The Shema is from a Makar of Kedusha. Now, who's moving faster? The guy who's Lishma or the guy who's doing something for kavod? And if you're doing something, who's getting more obsessed? The person who's Lishma or the person who's doing something for kavod? You don't see too many people getting obsessed about their Lishma. But Hashem's kavod, they're getting obsessed about their kavod. Hey, what's going on? It goes over and over and over in the minds. This is an obsession. So this is very strong. So take that Sitra Achra, take the evil, and give it to the goyim. They think they're getting a lot. Think about it. It's logical. Look, all of this energy. Look what we can destroy. Look how great we can become. Look what the towers that we can build. I went to speak in Hong Kong once. So.
Chinese?
No, I didn't speak in Chinese, but because they wouldn't have understood me. But Israelis, yeah, mostly Israelis. A few other, but business community. But when the guy picked me up at the airport, a Chashiv Jew, his name was Darvish. The Chashiv Jew is in the watch business, Chashiv person. Baba should tell him, so he's driving me for the airport. And I see these big, statues like idols, avodah zaras, all over everybody. You ever see all over the place, like this Chinese monsters. They're big. They're like maybe 50 feet high and 50 feet across. Big, colorful monsters. So I said to the guy who was driving me, I said, "Is this the local avodah zara?" So he pointed to the skyscraper next to it. He said, "That's the local avodah zara." This is just decoration, the local avodah zara is the skyscraper. Like where is the Sitra Achra? So let's keep moving here. Frank the Zoyar v'shoyel v'chichatoi di Yisrael v'choy v'delohain zreikenu b'spal g'lau v'delohain v'chiachatoi v'shol Yisrael. What happens? The chatoim of Klal Yisrael and the averis that they have, zarkim u'bachalkim oisam la'av shalahem u'ba'hanoy yesh lam. What do they do with it? Like Hashem takes the negative energy, gives it to the goyim. B'shulma. What do they want it for? Ella says the Zoyar Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Ella ihud They're sitting and waiting for that. Elahei machakim u'mitzapim lematana shamalo kikalve legabe porta pesara rather, like a dog sits on the side of your dinner table waiting for you to throw him some kind of a bone. The dog is sitting there waiting for his piece, his chelik. The goyim that are doing the Sitra Achra are waiting for their chelik. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu throws them that which was created because of our Averas, throws it to us, kulu chashvi, or the second page, us kulu chashvi the master of V'nivza de'iu boi levei l'Yisrael. Kulam choshvim, shabatanos v'aderoni shechashav HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'asas Yisrael. What are they thinking? They're thinking, he gave me part of his food. Instead of giving it to the people at the table, gave it to me. Doesn't he realize that it's the psoilus, it's the stuff that we don't want? The Haver b'nai v'yoivlad took it away. They're thinking that this is not nevuah here. They're thinking that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took away what the matana that was supposed to go to Klal Yisrael. They gave it to us, Yaakov and Esav. You understand what's going on here? Hey, shehevira v'lacha behem v'nas ha'noisa lahem. L'chein, therefore, miyad kula b'chidu v'zarkin loin al shar amin. They say, celebrate birthday party. Miyad kula mehem b'simcha v'zarkim oisam al shar ha'amin. So here in this smaller print, Frisch explains the Indian. Veha-Inyan. Hebrew, like I do. Veha-Inyan. Hulafi sha'asamach mem v'chayolov hochen l'kabitz avodas Yisrael l'katrig aleim. The enemies of the Jews live off the Averos of Klal Yisrael. This is their Pesach. This is how they get in. Klal Yisrael does Averos. We could get in. This was always the case. Get them to do Averos. Those that understood. Get them to do Averos. They figure like this, very simple, that if the Jews get all this matanot, let's say because of the Birchas Yitzchak, they took our bracha, and if you look throughout the Gemara, it's so clear that that the Roman Empire understood that their kemph was the kemph of Yaakov and Esav. Yaakov stole our brachas. Gemara explains the whole hundreds of years of the Roman Empire was all about what do they want from Judea? What do they want from a little place Israel? What do they care? They're taking over the whole world. They understood they took our brachas, and they understood their victory, which they certainly had. Their victory. They were the longest, I think, empire in world history, hundreds and hundreds of years, the Roman Empire. They went for a long time, very strong, took over the whole world, basically, and except little Israel. Even here they occupied. They understood this is their final triumph of Klal Yisrael has sinned. We said, here's our chance. Here's our chance. And the Kinos is full of this, and Jewish history is full of this, of how they understood, how what did you say, Nebuchadnezzar understood that this is Dama Shel Zechariah. This is our chance to get in. It wasn't bringing up to tshuva, it was a chance to get in.
So on a deeper level, when the world looks at Israel and tries to say we're doing bad things, whatever, is that part of...
yeah. Yeah. Isn't that what's going on in the newspaper?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Inyan hu lefi sha'asamach mem l'chayolov hochem l'kabeit tzavonos Yisrael l'katrig aleim v'al yedei zehem roitzim l'kabel kol shefa hatoiv shayimuchan l'oses l'Yisrael u'b'toichach Yisrael shavim b'tshuva. Okay, now we have the goyim against us, we do tshuva. That's the idea. Livnei koinam. When we're faced with an enemy, the correct response is to do tshuva. Why? We're losing our brachas to the goyim. We're not getting it from a Tzarasada Kedusha. They're getting more and more Sitra Achra. It's like you close a faucet here, you raise the pressure here. B'asamach mem, now, the idea is to do tshuva. Asamach mem lo yoidea mizeh. the Samuel doesn't know that we did tshuva. Moshe knew that we did tshuva. Sorish Leisa. Vaz kol hadinim shayiruyin lachal Yisrael. So what happens is all the dinim shayiruyin lachal Yisrael im loy hayushavim. If we would not have done tshuva, this is Yaakov, he left, but this is what he was saying before. Ata sheshavu, now that we did tshuva, hakol nishba v'nishlach el achitzayim, all of the bad things, the onesh, the sitra achra, that would have come to us because of our averos had we not done tshuva, now are directed out into the other side.
Mashkus.
Yes. Nishlach al hachitzayim. V'shikasav, and this is the pshat, hence I bring you the Zohar today, ותשליך נמצולות יום כל חטאתם. כי זה חלקם מלמעלה, אחירוס המים הטהורים ושמורי היין. It's like the sediments of the wine. It's like pollution. That goes, where do the sediments go to the wine? They go to the bottom of the barrel. Nמצולות yom. Yordu ke'even v'mitzula. Right? What's the pasuk? No, from Azashir. Yordu v'mitzaylos k'mayim. Vaz hoylech hasamach memu machalek mashenitin loy mibeis hamelech l'chol achitzayim, shares the gift. V'hainu zeres hayisurim oishar oinshim hamamarkim achar atshuva. All of the yisurim that we get because of the avera is memarek, and then we do tshuva and we push that away. That's the advantage of yisurim. Niten lahem v'hu machalek l'kitosav. They give it out to their friends. Sheyelchu l'kayim agzera hi al Yisrael. So they think Geval. They don't know about the tshuva. The tshuva is the secret part because tshuva is belev. So since they don't know about the tshuva, they think they're flying high and they're getting more energy than ever. But what's happening with this energy is it's self-destructing them. That's what's going on. They're grabbing it, thinking that this is Gevaldik, but it's destroying them even more. L'mi chalayim, l'mi oini, l'mei oini rather, l'mei chalayim, l'mei mechshaylos, k'goyin loike yeinayu pishtani. All of a sudden their world begins to fall apart from our averos. And then it's a good deal. We do the averos when we do tshuva. They grab the chitzayim. They don't have to grab them, but they grab those things that the energy that we were getting from doing averos, they take. Now they're more energy. What happens with this energy? The crop starts to die. The rain stops to pour. Right? The nuclear reactors explode. Loke yenayu pishtani. The wine starts to turn to vinegar. Ukiyoytze. That's what we get from Yisurim. Yisurim have that effect. When we have Yisurim, it creates a destructive force for the Goyim. And that's why the Goyim will eventually disappear. That's why today the Roman Empire is making pizza. There's nothing left of it, and the Greeks are making yogurt. So there's nothing left because it's with all of that power, it implodes. It doesn't explode, but it implodes into them, and it's himkolim and himsadim. B'china shekasav Yeshayahu said this. Chitzai, and the Tomer Devorah brings this. We'll see. Chitzai achale bam. Yeshayahu talks in the name of Hashem, and he says that my arrows. My arrows have run out, bum, on the Jewish people. So the Gemara says, good, Hashem can run out of arrows for us. But the Zohar says, Chitzai achale bum, is that the arrows were redirected. Hashem shot arrows at us. That made us do tshuva. So that's a positive thing. This is painful, but positive. But now that we did tshuva, so now all of those Yisurim are going with Sulas Yab.
It's 2 weeks on the pasuk, right? It's my focus thing, or if that pasuk is going and going with the Jews. So it's
really, that's the pshat. This is the pshara. Pirish Rashi at that pasuk. Uklala zul l'fi aparadis l'brachahi. Chitzai kalim v'hei ve'lo kalim. My arrows run out, but the Jewish people will never run out. So the Jewish people, like we have this thing in us that self kol self we do tshuva. Always, as much as it doesn't look like it sometimes. Self kol self we do tshuva. I always say over what I learned from Mipeh of Aryeh Kaplan when I was a kid. That he taught us. He was my NCSY director. He taught us that there is no Baal Tshuva movement. There's movements where Jews go off the derech, and eventually they come back. If you look through history, it's not a Baal Tshuva movement; it's a Chiloni movement. it's a movement away from Torah until there's Yisurim, until there's problems, and then we move back. Eventually, we move back. It's a slow process sometimes. And we see some of this, now. But I don't think we've seen anything yet. I don't think, I think that there's got to be there has to be a big Baal Tshuva movement. I think. Meaning, I'm talking about necessarily the yeshivas and the Shabbatos. I'm talking about where people realize like what's important in this world and what's important in life, and just get their heads on straight and stop taking their energy, which is very attractive, from the Sitra Achra. By the way, I'm just going to end here. There's just so much we haven't even we scratched the surface of a surface that I don't even understand. But the Sitra Achra is always called the Chitzaidim. It's the Chitzaidim. It's all it's sugar coated. It's a sugar coated world, very attractive. The Sitra Achra is the way Hashem created it to create Bechira. Again, such a powerful thing, and I'm just bringing this down to a level that I can understand it. It's the frosting. It's the meaning. This is what the immature person is attracted to the chitzonius, and not to the pnimius. Like the Aloi Beitarish Loi Lishma. So it says in Pirkei Avos, it's Kedezev Zahav Bizar Ki Isha Zara Chasaras Tam. It's only a superficial, stupid person that will, you see the biggest losers, beautiful women, but it's so superficial, and nothing works and nothing lasts and nothing, because we know Isha Yiras Hashem Hitasalo. So it's all a question of going, it's all a question in my understanding, in the way words that I can understand, of finding the previous of the thing, which is not as attractive superficially as the chitzonius of it, and let the chitzonius go for the goyim. And the chitzonius is destructive. Frosting kills you. The sugar coating of society that everybody's attracted to, all of us, to some extent, at the end it kills you because it doesn't have any pnimius. It doesn't have any pnimius. So put a little bit of sugar on the chumash for the kid when he's 3 years old. But when you're not 3 years old, and you're not going to cheder for the first time, like just get to the tachlis of it, and it's not about the honey on the chumash any longer. In fact, the honey's destroying the chumash. That's connected. Like it's not the right way. So it's really a question for us of choosing pnimius and chitzonius, and I think important. I just want to reemphasize this again. It's probably the right thing to look at on Chanukah, like. We're talking about two forces here. We're not just talking about like self-righteous people that decide we're right, we're wrong, we're going to decapitate you. We're talking about forces of evil, of ruthlessness, and getting that away from us and bringing it to them. So what we need to ask ourselves always when we see something, and just because somebody's vatshliach, it doesn't mean that they're doing the right thing. Hashem b'sachekes lev. That's all. It doesn't mean you can be a hatzlacha means nothing to us. Hatzlacha, gazillions of dollars, and strong armies. What does it mean? All it means is that the chitzonius right now are very, very strong, but it doesn't last. None of them last. So it's not kedai to. The whole job of a Jew is nothing more or less than being bocher on the pnimius instead of the chitzonius, or being bocher on the Makor of Kedusha instead of the Makor of Tumah, and more importantly, doing our tachlis instead of being distracted by the sugar on the outside. That's the whole thing. Zil Gemar. There is nothing else except for that. And that's what all the mitzvahs are about. That's what all the davening is about. That's what everything is about. That's what Shuvah is about, as we just learned. Just getting the right stuff. and bringing it to this world. If if we get the right, Adabarisha messed up on this. If the Nachash, was the other side, that was a different koach. We gave it to that koach. That's what happened over there. We gave it to that koach. We over and over in history, and we give and Garat what Misa. That brought Misa. The Mashiach, the Geula that we speak about, is when the Koach HaTov overrides the Koach HaRa. And this is self-destructive, so it's always gespielt. Eventually it will destroy itself, like did the Babylonians and the Greeks and the Romans. And, and as the Gemara says, the Malchus Yishmael, it'll destroy itself if we go for the Kedusha. That's the Chab. If we go into the Chitzonius, then they win because it's stronger than us.
What happens to the mashlis of a goy when he does tshuva?
If a guy can do tshuva.
If a goy can do tshuva, what happens?
Right,
I mean, Eov
goes to the other guy.
Goes the other guy.
Goes to the other guy. You see, the Gemara says Neiron Keser. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said Neiron Keser was Megayer. So this was the Gemara. Neiru. It was Remeir's grandfather. Like, does anybody in our yeshivish world understand what it means for the Caesar of Rome to convert? What do we even have what would happen today if, let's say, you heard that there's
Obama became a Haredi.
Obama, Putin just became a Haredi, or what's his name in Turkey there, decided to become what does it mean that the Caesar of Rome converted? This was to shaken up the whole world. So if you look at secular history, they record him as a Meshuggah. That's their answer. It went nuts, the guy. But he realized where the Koach of Esav is. Okay. Very little Hanukkah.
Wow.